up, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I am Britt. I'm a wife, mom of 3, and multi-passionate business owner. On here, I share a mix of business and marketing tips for small business owners and some lifestyle to share with you the behind the scenes of raising businesses and babies. So today we're continuing our declutter series. Today we're working on the kitchen. If you want to see the first part of this series, I will link it down below. And we did the master closet clean out. So this is just a little before of what we're working with the kitchen. And we've definitely cut down a lot. If you have seen any pictures before and just been following along over in the world of Instagram, then you've seen that we took on a small kitchen renovation. It was a lot more than we thought, but we learned a lot. And we took out our upper cabinets on our kitchen. So we created some open shelving, which I feel makes the kitchen breathe so much more. But in our little quirky house, we moved from a 5-bedroom house from Arizona to here. It's a 3-bedroom house, but we have 2 bedrooms upstairs, and it can definitely get pretty small. So this is definitely a smaller kitchen, and it can get cluttered really fast. So this year, one of my main goals is intentionality in my spaces, in my life, in my schedule. And so creating intention and flow in those spaces that we use every single day helps so much. So I'm so excited to bring this series to you because it has been so freeing and it just feels amazing. So I hope it gives you a little bit of inspiration for you to do the same. So here I'm working on kind of figuring out how I want these shelves to work. I'm making sure that each part of these spaces has a purpose, and that's what I figured has kind of worked best. So this obviously is kind of where the drinks are because our coffee pot's right there. It's easy to just grab and put down there, but as you can see, we have a lot of glasses up here. So taking everything down and then slowly piecing everything back up. The one downside too to having a quirky older house is the amount of dust that gets everywhere. So that is one thing that I am still figuring out how we can do. So it's a lot of weekly dusting compared to like having a newer build that we had in Arizona. But I think the payoff of our home, we call it casita, it's magical. I think when we move things around, things just fit magically, and I swear this home has a heartbeat and it just feels so good. So I'm going through, we had so many glasses just sitting up there. These are all glasses that we're actually moving down to a shelf in the basement because eventually I am going to be working on a bar cart area that I want. I just haven't found that right placement. So there's no reason to have these out, even though we do use these. So we have our rock tumblers. We have some really cool glasses that I found from Barnes & Noble when they were doing their like under construction sale. So I got them for like $5, but it's the Declaration of Independence. It was just really fun piece. If you didn't know, my husband's actually a history major, so we're both big history buffs, and so we have a lot of that around our house, and we love sharing with the girls too. So putting those glasses away to the side so that we only use them when we need to. And of course I had a little helper here. So this island is a new addition to our kitchen. We switched it out with our other one, and it has a little bit more storage. And I think what works best about this, what we found, is that we can conceal some of the stuff that we don't use necessarily every day. I was thinking more of the everyday things, but my husband, this is where we were discussing, he made such a great point in that we put some of the wine glasses, because we'll use them weekly or every other week, not an everyday thing. So we just put them to the side versus having them up on the open shelf and you can't see it. So while we do use them, they just need to be put somewhere else. We also are putting some of our like novelty mugs. We use them at least multiple times a week, but it does look better down here. So these are our Crime Junkie mugs. Absolutely love Crime Junkie. If you're a Crime Junkie fan, please let me know down in the comments. So we put our mugs there, and then my husband has a favorite dad mug that he loves. It's like the perfect cup. It's what he pulls every Saturday. So we did those, and then we put our Home and Hearth black mugs up on our coffee rack up there so you can see. And then we also have, I have loved these mugs right here. We use them for tea, and they just look so pretty, and I feel like it truly leads into that romanticizing your life. But they're from IKEA, and they're absolutely amazing. It's so pretty when you can see the tea bag. The other thing we did is our kids' plates. These are all from IKEA as well. They work so well. I think a couple of those are from Target, but we've had these for forever, and they having 3 kids, we go through a lot of dishes for multiple meals, snacks. So having a couple extra of those versus like just a set works so much better. So we put them down there because it's easy to grab. The girls help set the table and it just works. So if we need to declutter those, we can, but so far we use all of those and they go in the dishwasher. We always run the dishwasher every night and it's usually full. So always making sure when I'm going through this is what we use. So the next thing is clearing out our pantry. This is definitely a catch-all. This was the hardest part, I think, of this house. So this is our 3rd year in this house. We've had, if you don't have extra random Oreos in your pantry, do you even have kids? So I'm pulling everything out, but this is actually, we had no pantry when we came to this. And then we actually had it in a cabinet at first, our first year. So we had no food storage whatsoever, which for a family of 5 is very challenging. So we did buy a pantry and had it back against that wall next to our back door, but it ended up not working. And it ended up kind of clogging up that hallway right there. There's a hallway right behind this door here. And it just didn't work. So what we ended up finding out, this was our first touch into kitchen rehab. And especially as a couple, we had gotten some advice a long time ago. And like, tell me if this is true or not. They say not to do any kind of home renovation project within the first 10 years of marriage. I don't know if this is old school thought. I feel like my husband and I have probably been through worse, but all of those are just team exercises. It's like those icebreakers where you have to do team bonding. I feel like it's just a constant, when we have projects like that, it is fully a team bonding moment, and we figure out where our strengths and weaknesses are, and we just pull through. We just do it. So this is actually a closet set from IKEA. And I can link it down below if you are curious which one. So with this, we got the outside and we got to pick which shelves we wanted. So it did take us a few trips to get exactly what we wanted because things were still out of stock. But you can see we got a pull-out drawer for snacks and whatnot we've used for. And then we have a mesh one that opens up, a metal mesh basket. And so, as you can see, we did try out our Tupperware here. We did have it in a cabinet before, but you just couldn't reach it because it was that corner upper cabinet. And so that's why we took out all the uppers. We had all this space. We couldn't see anything. So I think that was probably the thing that was the tipping point to our decluttering and just feeling that we needed it. So I'm pulling all of these Tupperwares out to see what we actually use and what we don't. And so far, we've been using this for about a week, 2 weeks now, and it was the perfect amount of decluttering. And so I'm keeping the actual ones we use. We have these amazing glass containers. They're linked over on my Amazon storefront, and they're amazing. And so we meal prep just to keep efficiency. And we just don't have time. I also think I'm at that point where I'm so not necessarily busy, but I'm just very intentional. Like, I could probably eat the same thing every day. I'm a creature of habit, and I just don't want to think about what I'm eating because I feel like I'm making decisions all day for other people. I don't want to make decisions for myself. I have that decision fatigue right now. So these are plastic containers that I got. They're literally, I think they might actually be the Bento Box brand, but I got them for the girls' snacks for school, and the lids literally will not stay on. And I was keeping them, trying to make them work. I literally would put a hair tie around them so that they wouldn't fall off. So I don't know why I was keeping those. I mean, A, for effort, but they just were not working for us. And so I had to tell myself, like, this, it's not happening. It's not going to work. This is what we use for our produce. It works really well just because it's out of the way. We do have a hanging basket for fruit because we do pull from that every day. The girls love snacking on fruit. But this is more for like our onions, potatoes, the pantry stuff. And so I'm reusing some of our baskets. That's the one thing that I did not donate because I feel like baskets I have a lot of. I feel like if there's something that can be put in a basket that you're keeping, it can help take that messiness and not like put it in the forefront of your mind or like your eye when you're looking at things. So this is how I kind of separated that versus like one big thing. So I did not declutter any baskets because I'm still working through the house. If I happen to have extras at the end, I probably will just put them down to store in case we need them. But if I know I absolutely will not use it again, I will 100% donate. The other thing I am doing here too is removing all the plastic bags, because I feel like when you can't actually see something, you're less likely to use it. So I took all the potatoes, all the onions out of that, and I think it just looks a million times better. I'm putting our extra storage down here for any bulk items and refilling. Of course, I have my helper right here, refilling anything that we're using daily. So I do make homemade bread, and yeast is one of our things that I use at least weekly. So filling up those containers and then putting the rest in the bulk storage that we do have. So we love shopping at Sam's Club. We used to be huge Costco people, but actually our Sam's Club out here is way better than the Costco, I feel, and what we use. So we've got our sugar and brown sugar and flour for sure, and then yeast and anything else that we use in bulk. And I'm storing it down on that bottom shelf there because it can bear a little bit more weight compared to the other shelves, because those top shelves of that pantry are actually pull out, so you can reach the back, which works really, really well. This is also where I'm going to be putting our cans. We don't have a lot of cans. It's more so any like canned chicken that we'll occasionally pull from for like chicken salad, or we do chili. So we'll have like beans and whatnot. But other than that, and tomatoes, tomato paste. We also we favor homemade spaghetti sauce. So easy to make. It's definitely cheaper because if we are to buy one, we love Rouse and it's so good. Sometimes we'll pick it up from Sam's Club because it's easier, and it's like $8 a jar, and we can actually make some really good ones. We've gotten bold and brave with making some things at home, and so that works for us. So now I'm trying to figure out what works best and where we actually pull and use from. We did have snacks here before, but I have 3 little girls who love to just go pull from the snacks, and it just ends up a mess. We have snacks that are just for school, and then usually we'll make a snack for them when they get home from school. So trying to make sure that they have certain snacks for school that they're excited about, because otherwise they will favor a snack too much and they're completely over it within a week. So that's how we're kind of going through it. But that way they're a little bit more out of reach. It takes a little bit more intention. Now we're heading to the Lazy Susan. I was thinking about this. I don't know if I'm not a huge fan, or I feel like it's just a very hard space to utilize. So we had some kitchen gadgets in there that we sometimes use, but we decided to get rid of. We had like an immersion blender, so that was going to Goodwill. And then we ended up finding out, and this was definitely a trial and error. It's definitely a big project. This took us a day to just kind of figure out what works, especially with the kids and whatnot. But we had no places for spices, but our spices and our supplements we use daily, but I didn't want them like out in the open or in the pantry space. So we decided to put them on that Lazy Susan, and it works perfect because I can see everything. I can grab everything. We also love tea, especially during the winter months. It definitely is part of my romanticizing my life. It feels really great. But we had all these tea boxes that had like 3 of them in there. So I put them all in one container, put it down with our supplements, and cleared up so much space, because other than that, it was all in a box. And that's just something that I am going to be keeping tabs on as far as how much we have of each thing, kind of filling it up. These are one of our snacks that the girls ate through. It was a pack from Sam's Club, but they do not like the spicy queso. So this is, I think my husband is jumping on this one. I'm not a huge queso flavored fan at all. He's going to jump on this one to eat those snacks for work, but they're really great. They're really great in macros. They taste good and they have really clean ingredients. But that's definitely the only flavor left. But the girls love the salted ones, the kettle corn. They are delicious, and they are very budget friendly if you're a big family. So I figured I would add some aesthetic here and just make it visual to their eyes. We usually have a little bit more variety, but we're in that kind of snack slump right now of what they actually like and what they don't like. So the Oreos are working right now, especially when we have 3 girls and they each like different things. So this is a common ground. So I'm just putting this all here. Usually we'll store extra bulk down in the basement and I'll fill it up as it goes. But this is what we had on hand at the time before our grocery haul, and I'm just going to put it up there. Obviously, I'm going to toss the box into the garage because it's my husband's favorite thing to do is break down those boxes out there for me. This ended up being our haul for all of the kitchen stuff that we donated. There was just random stuff that was thrown in the drawers. So this is the after, and it feels so much better, so much cleaner, and it feels honestly like not only can the space breathe, but I can breathe. I didn't realize how much, I think through this process, I didn't realize how much mental clutter that it brings to you. And honestly, my goal this season is to spend more time where it lights me up most. And not only is that, of course, with my kids and spending more time with them versus trying to keep up and clean the house, but it's also being able to spend it on more creative projects that fill my cup on the outside. This is where we landed with the Tupperware. We definitely cut down a huge chunk. We've got our everyday right there as far as like our shakers and our coffee tumblers that we use for taking the kids to school pretty much. And then this is what we end up with the pantry. And I literally had the thought of, oh my gosh, we have too much space. We put our silverware back over here. We've had it before, but we had extra gadgets, like 2 extra boxes of stuff that we weren't really using. We had a second can opener that we didn't use, a lemon squeezer we rarely use because I just squeeze them. And I can't even tell you, we had way too much. If you like this video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next video.